Hello, and welcome to Ghostability with myself, Paranormal Mitch.
And Paranormal Tej.
We have a guest for us today. It is the author of A Cursed Collection of Haunted Dolls, From Real Life to Literature and Movies. It is Fiona Dodwell. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you for being here.
Yes.
We appreciate you so much. We've been following each other since I started. So this is so exciting to have you here.
Yeah, we've been connected online for quite a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while.
When I first joined TikTok, I was looking for accounts that had that kind of thing that you had going on, the interactions with haunted dolls and objects and the way that you studied and investigated them. And I found your account and I was like, wow, this is gold for me. So it's lovely to finally talk to you.
Likewise, it's awesome.
I think we kind of mentioned it, but it's always fun to talk with people who have are kind of immersed in this community, because I think some people that are outside don't quite get it. Even if I've talked to family and they're like, "Oh, a haunted doll, is it really scary?" And I'm like, "No,
we're just excited about it."
Yeah. But kind of to get started, for people that have not either read your book or heard of you, tell us a little bit about what first brought you into the world of haunted dolls.
Okay, so I've been interested in the paranormal in general for many years. I think even way back to childhood, I was first drawn into ghost stories and the point horror books. I don't know if you remember that, the Goosebump books.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I was just drawn to anything that was spooky or kind of creepy. And then as I got older, sort of my teenage years, I was really drawn to sort of reading about true life paranormal cases and visiting haunted locations. And I just started to really take the whole subject of the paranormal seriously. And then I think it was in 2015, here in the UK, there was a case of Peggy the doll. I'm sure you've heard of her. Yes. She's quite famous now. But that became such a huge case over here. And it really gripped me, this whole idea that a doll or an object can actually be haunted. And it just kind of really put a seed in my mind, and it really kind of took hold. And I thought I've really got to learn about this aspect of the paranormal, because it seemed like there was so much out there on other areas of the paranormal, like haunted buildings and poltergeist cases and demonic possession. But once you started looking at haunted objects, there was such little out there. And I thought, okay, this has got to be something that I do. I've really got to research it and put something out there. And I just kind of threw myself headfirst in, really. And I've never looked back. I'm absolutely obsessed with the subject, really.
Yes. Yes, I get it. I totally get it.
We are too.
And that's why we do this. There's just not enough out there about them. And that's why I was so excited about your book when you told me about it and what you were doing. I was like, yes, finally, a haunted doll collector who is writing about haunted dolls, not, Hollywood writing about haunted dolls, or somebody who doesn't have experience, an actual haunted doll collector writing about haunted dolls is so refreshing. Tell us a little bit about your own haunted doll collection, because I know you've got them.
Yes, I do actually. My interest in dolls in general, I have a collection of dolls and vintage and antique dolls, porcelain dolls and that sort of thing. So I have a large collection in general outside of the paranormal thing. But I do own a couple of haunted dolls, and that actually happened by accident, actually, through the process of writing the book. Because as I was researching and learning about haunted dolls and people doing interviews with people who owned them, one person reached out to me. His name is Rob, and he has his own podcast, and he reached out to me and said, look, I have this doll, and I literally purchased her just to do a whole episode around this item. And he was actually really skeptic. He didn't believe in it, really. He just thought it would make a fun episode. He did a recording of his podcast in a hotel room with this doll, locked himself in there for 2 days, just did loads of recordings and experiments, and thought it would just be a bit of fun. But by the end of his recording, the next day when he left the hotel, he wrapped the doll in a plastic bag, locked her in his car boot, and didn't want anything to do with it anymore, because he was convinced that it was haunted.
Yeah.
So he reached out to me when I was writing the book and said, look, I've got this doll here. How amazing would it be for you to have this experience while you're writing the book? And that's how my doll Edna came into my life, and I still have her now, because at one point it was going to be a temporary situation and I was going to send Edna back to Rob, and he was actually no, keep her. I don't want her back. I think he was too creeped out by her. And I had some amazing experiences with her. I've had experiments with like spirit box, and I've had visual sightings in my house of like fleeting movements.
Yep.
I've done experiments with like the touch sensor light balls, and I've tried sorts of all array of things, and I've even caught some wonderful EVPs as well, where I've captured her voice confirming her age and her name and everything. So to me that was just an absolutely amazing experience, because I only went into the subject purely from an analytical and like research purpose, and here I was actually experiencing it, and it had a whole other level to the interest for me, to make it like really validated. And then I have a clown as well that I think I've messaged you about a long time
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I know that guy.
Yeah, he even made the press over here in England, in a couple of mainstream presses who wrote about him. His nickname's Knock Knock Harry, and he's, I mean, I'm not a psychic, I'm not a medium, and I don't have a gift in that way, but to me you don't even need to around Harry. Like his gift, like his power, like the energy around him is really palpable. And as soon as he arrived to me, like I felt that sensation of like, I can feel there's something here, I feel watched. And I had some wonderful responses through my own experiments and investigations with him as well. So yeah, between Harry and Edna, I feel like I've really kind of gained that insight, which, you know, has made for really invaluable research actually, for something that I've wanted to study for so long.
Yeah.
And I think it like translates into that passion that you can tell you have when reading your book. You know, like it's very obvious you care about the subject. It's not just something you researched and didn't have your heart into. You can definitely tell like you love it. And I think that's awesome. And what we need in this field, frankly. So
thank you. That's kind of you to say, because it is a subject that means a lot to me, and it's something that I really want to kind of address with other people who are into the paranormal, because there seems to be a bit of judgment and snobbery out there. As soon as you mention haunted dolls or haunted objects, there's almost like a smirk or a judgment. And I really want to tackle that and actually turn that around and make people kind of question that and ask themselves why. Because if you believe that a room can be haunted, or a plot of land, for example, then why can't another material object or something else absorb some kind of energy as well, you know?
right.
It's a valid question to me, and a lot of people aren't prepared to ask that in a serious way.
Right. Like, what's the difference? Like, it's a spirit is a spirit, regardless of where they are and how they're a spirit. It's still a spirit. It's really no different.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
I find it interesting how you started with the book and then ended up with the dolls. Our story is kind of opposite. We started with the dolls and then ended up doing things. But kind of, you talked about this misconception around the topic. Is that kind of what kind of put you on the course to start writing this book? Or was there something else that kind of an event or a story that kind of, you know, really wanted you to start, you know, or encouraged you to start writing the book?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, like years ago when I was younger, I just grew up with the interest in general in the paranormal. And then I knew the stories, like the famous cases like Robert and Annabelle, and that kind of really intrigued me and interested me. But once the Peggy case came out, that added a whole other level of motivation for me to learn, because here it was, this modern case in modern times actually unfolding before our eyes, having an influence on many people in many different ways. And I just found that really captivating. So once kind of, that was in 2015, and that was when it kind of became a more serious area that I wanted to look at. And then in more recent years, I think it was kind of what you were just saying a moment ago, really, is just kind of looking at what was out there and thinking, hang on, this is a real interesting aspect of the paranormal, and nobody seems to be looking at it seriously. And that's what I wanted to do at first. It wasn't so much writing about it because I had my own experiences. I wanted to put together a whole volume of research from interviews and investigations and famous cases and all this sort of stuff, almost sort of like a guide for people to the subject.
Nice.
And then it was just a happy accident, really, that I ended up owning a doll myself. I didn't expect that to happen, and now that it has, it's just made my motivation even more stronger to keep learning and hopefully, you know, even expand my own collection. You know, I love the whole thing now. So
how long did it take you to start, like, to write the book? Because I know you said you got the dolls after you started writing, but you've had haunted dolls as long as I've known you, and that's been like, what, over a year now? So how long did it take you to actually write the book and do all that research? Because it's research packed. I mean, it's tons.
Yeah, I mean, it did take a long time, a really long time, like it was years. And that's not because it didn't take years necessarily to write everything that was in the book, but it was more like the amount of time that I spent just reading about the subject and
Right.
kind of contacting people online and doing interviews and just kind of like I spent a long time doing that. It wasn't something that I kind of decided to do and then wanted to get it all done within a year. I
Right.
just wanted to kind of look at the whole world of haunted dolls and all these different cases and reach out to people from all different walks of life, and just kind of collect all that information. And once I felt like I'd got enough understanding myself and enough material myself, that was when I started actually writing the book. So
That's amazing.
Yeah.
thank you.
Amazing.
I think your book's really interesting because I think you have it looks at like real life cases, but also fictional cases, which I think is fun to kind of compare those together. In your research, how did you go about separating those? Because I think writing about them, in my opinion, would have to be different, right? Because they're kind of different things. How do you kind of go about writing about those different topics, researching them, things like that?
Yeah, I took them like as two separate projects, even though there is two parts to the book, and the main part in the book is actually the true life cases. There is
Right.
there is a section on dolls, haunted and cursed dolls in the entertainment world, and I kind of wrote that as a whole separate thing, if you know what I mean. Like
Yeah, for
I
sure.
wasn't writing both at the same time because they did feel like very different sides to the subject. But I just thought it'd be an interesting take, really, because I knew, as a horror fan myself, and absolutely love paranormal films and horror films, I knew and I could kind of see this whole array of movies out there that had been influenced by the idea of dolls that are haunted or possessed or cursed. And there was just so many of them and so many great examples, that I just thought it'd be interesting to do that, to put together a guide to films that have used this and been influenced by the subject. And it was wonderful. Like, I got to interview Don Mancini, who the creator of Child's Play, and Jennifer Tilly, who voices Tiffany the doll from Child's Play as well. So it was lovely to interview them. And I interviewed the director of the Robert franchise. He's the British horror film director as well. And it was just wonderful to just kind of like step into that other side of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah,
I
it was
love that you
interesting.
included both too, because I think a lot of people, because there's so little real haunted doll information out there. I mean, there are haunted doll creators, but like such a small number compared to just general paranormal. But I think it's so important that you put in both, because we always talk about how like everyone assumes living in our house is like being in a Hollywood horror film. It's like
Yeah.
it is so different. And so I think it's so important to compare the two so people can see like what is in these horror films is not real life. And I never, when I watch a horror film, I know it's a horror film. I knew somebody wrote it. I don't think it's real. But I've learned in doing this is like a lot of people like really think that the Conjuring movies, are Annabelle's story. A lot of people think that that's like the real haunted doll behind it. And there's so much more. And so I love that you compared them so people can see like, hey, this is what a real haunted doll is like. And here's what a haunted doll in horror is, because they're two totally different things.
Absolutely. They're worlds apart, really, actually.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it raises an interesting point, because I actually think that one of the reasons that when I tell people, oh, I study like haunted dolls and haunted objects, and that you get that kind of judgy look, I think it's almost because people started to have the influence of horror films and think that this is the kind of thing we're referring to. Whereas
Right.
actually the reality couldn't be, it's a whole universe apart from when you're talking about
Right.
films like Child's Play and all that
Yeah.
sort of stuff. It's just nothing like it. And I almost think that the horror theme of haunted dolls has made a larger than life dramatic caricature of the
For sure.
subject. And that's why
Yes.
I thought it was really like interesting to put it side by side to show people what the reality is like, versus the entertainment world. So.
Yeah, I think you bring up a really good point about how people have this kind of perception of it. Something I always like to ask people is what do you think was what's the driving force behind people being so enamored by these haunted dolls? Like, I feel like it's become this whole subgenre of horror. Like, what do you think is the thing that drives people to it so much?
I think it's because there's something about dolls in general, even like when you set the whole paranormal attachment aside, that lots of us, like even as adults, there are many of us that find dolls a little bit unsettling. And I don't know if it's that kind of human like expression, the eyes that look like they're staring at you. There's just something there that kind of ticks us psychologically, I think, to find dolls a little bit unnerving in a general way as well. So once you kind of invite the idea that a doll could have some kind of intelligence behind it, there's something there that really really quite unsettling, and that it scares people. It's something about that humanness. I think there's definitely the kind of human vessel look, and wondering if you're being watched and if there's intelligence behind that eye, the eyes of that doll.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Because everybody's used to, ghosts being invisible, and then you have something you can see and is tangible and it's right in front of your face. And I think people love to be scared too.
Yeah.
People just love to be scared. And I mean, I do too. It's fun, but there's such a difference.
There is. And like you say, being scared is actually quite a fun thing. As long as you feel like you're safe, then being scared is quite a fascinating emotion to go through and to kind of experience. And that's kind of why we as humans love going on scary roller coasters. There's something about being thrown into something that's exhilarating and creepy, and that throws you off balance in your life,
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of moving away from the book for a second, you've written other things kind of in the supernatural genre. How does this most recent book, the Cursed Collection of Haunted Dolls, how does it fit within kind of your creative journey in regards to writing?
It was very, very different, actually. I mean, I had my first book published, I'm trying to think, it was a long time ago, probably about 15-16 years ago maybe, and all my previous work has been fiction, because I grew up obsessed, like I said, with ghost stories and paranormal stories, and I just wanted to do that. And so I've written a few actually of some short stories and some full novels that are just kind of like traditional ghost stories, and stories of hauntings and demonic possession, and I explore like the whole theme of different paranormal experiences, but they are fictional, so they're purely driven from my imagination. So actually, A Cursed Collection of Haunted Dolls was my first time of thinking, okay, I've explored that side, but now I really want to start delving into serious true life cases. So it was very different, because the first experience of my writing was very much imagination driven, and anything was possible and I could take it where I wanted to, whereas this was very much research led. This recent book was a whole different thing for me, and I really enjoyed doing it, actually, because it kind of allowed me an opportunity to speak to people from all walks of life who have experienced what you and I have experienced, and it was actually really eye-opening to see it's not as uncommon as what you would think,
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
One question: when you were doing this, obviously you looked into tons of different haunted dolls, and I'm sure that you looked into even more that aren't in that book. What case kind of stood out to you the most? Like, which one do you feel like really was like the story that was like a deal breaker for you?
I think, and I hate to sound like I'm repeating myself, because you probably, but it's Peggy. Like, I absolutely love the case of Peggy, and I think what it was for me in the early days, for me being introduced to the subject, all I knew about was the historical cases that had made a big cultural impact, like Annabelle and Robert, and I love those and find them the fascinating cases. But for me, there was something, there's just a whole other level to seeing a case, actually this is unfolding in real time, and seeing the influence of the doll on people who are investigating her, seeing her influence on the mainstream media, because there are even people saying that they'd been affected by her just from seeing
the picture and the video.
About. A lot of people took that very seriously, and I got to interview Jane Harris, who was the lady who owned Peggy for a while before Peggy ended up in Zach Bagans' museum. And Peggy's kind of that one case for me that I think probably will always be special to me, purely because it drove me from having a general interest in haunted objects to thinking, wow, this is something here, and I really want to throw myself in. So I think her story is really interesting, seeing that kind of negative energy attached to Peggy and who she influenced, who she affected. And the fact that you could see something, it wasn't sort of like a story you could say, oh, this happened many years ago, but this is what we've heard. This was actually the other side of it. This is happening now. And there are people able to kind of verify and kind of have their own experiences. And to me, that was wonderful to see something modern unfolding. It's kind of like a modern case that was happening now. Could see it fresh as it was unfolding. And I loved that, So from that case onwards, I never looked back, really.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love her. She's so interesting to me.
Yes.
I would love to meet her one day.
Yeah.
One day.
And
I would love to see her, actually, but she's in your country now, so
yes.
Yes. I think you made a great point of how interesting it is that it's happening now. I think we're also seeing a lot of the skepticism that's tied to that right now, and how everyone thinks it's, either people think it's fake or it's made up or it's dramatic or things like that. In regards to being a writer in this sort of genre, how do you handle skepticism from people that think it's all made up or kind of blow your story off or things like that?
I mean, I respect like people's opinions from that, and if anything, I think it's probably wise for us all to start from a skeptical viewpoint, because nobody wants to just jump into that place of acceptance and belief and then end up filling our minds and accepting things that aren't necessarily true. So I think it's probably a healthy thing to do. I don't have anything against people that say they're skeptics. I think it's a good thing. I think that we should all start from that point of view. But I do think I would like people to open their minds a bit and kind of tackle that kind of judgment there is. Because, I've had it many times when people say to me, so what do you write about, or what are you interested in? And I mention haunted dolls, like I said, and you do get that look. And some people even kind of like laugh it off a bit as if it's a bit of a joke, and I don't get offended. I'm not, it doesn't bother me, as it's more just that I want to put that back on them and say, well, actually, why do you think that? You're somebody who's open-minded to a haunted house, so why is it ludicrous and crazy to think that an object that has this kind of energy attached can be possible? So it's something that I don't judge people for having this skeptical viewpoint. I think it's probably quite natural, but I just would like to challenge that, and hopefully maybe the book that I've written will at least introduce people to the fact that this is a whole world and that so many people have experienced it, and lead kind of some respect to the subject in a way.
And I think skepticism is a really healthy part of this field too, because that skepticism is what drives people to produce evidence, and we can't just like be telling stories. We need to have the evidence and the research to back it up as well. So I think, skeptics kind of keep our field grounded, like when you're working with, spirits and things on the other side, it's like, you have to have 1 foot over there, but you have to have 1 foot over here as well, like on our side, and like in the living, in reality. And I think skepticism allows us to kind of stay in both. And I think that's a good thing for us. My other question for you is, did your perception of haunted dolls change at all from when you started writing the book to now that it's published and people are reading it? Like, how has your perspective of haunted dolls changed, if it has?
I think it's in a couple of ways, really. But like the main way for me that my perception was changed is realizing that it's not as unusual and uncommon as what you might be led to think. Kind of reaching out to people and seeing what their experiences were and how their lives were affected, and the eye-opening stuff that they encountered. To me, that was really interesting. And I think my perspective, like the whole idea of how a haunted doll manifests, that's definitely something, because I wasn't sure going in. So it wasn't so much my perspective on it that had changed. It was more that it was able to be confirmed to me, because I was interested in knowing how that would happen. At the beginning of the journey, I wanted to tackle the idea, if a doll could be haunted, how would that manifest, and what would be the signs. So for me, it's just been kind of a fascinating journey, learning about how that encounter unfolds, what people look out for, what people have experienced. That's definitely been interesting to me. And like we touched upon earlier, it's miles away from anything that the horror films would suggest.
Yes.
Yes.
it can be something even, you know, very kind of subtle and unnerving. It's not this dramatic thing like you have a doll running through your house sort of throwing stuff at you.
Watching you sleep, you know.
Watching you sleep.
I can't tell you how many times I get asked, this is crazy. All the time people are like, have you ever woke up to one of them standing over your bed staring at you? I'm like, no. No, of course not. Like, it's not that way at all.
Yeah, no.
At all. But
no, absolutely.
when you haven't been exposed, how else would you know, right? You know, you've got the horror films and that's all you got as a reference point. So that's why I think your book is so important to not just tell the stories, but also to educate. And I love that there's educational pieces in that as well. What is next for you with Haunted Dolls in your future work, and what's coming up for you after this book?
I think because this subject and writing this book has been such an amazing experience for me, I don't want to leave that world behind. So I'm already halfway through writing another book now. But the book is not just focused on haunted dolls, although it includes haunted dolls. It's going to be delving into the whole array of haunted and cursed objects throughout history to present day. And it will have a similar format to A Cursed Collection of Haunted Dolls, in the sense of I will take things case by case and I will reach out and interview people who have experiences. So, you know, it's wonderful. I got to interview you, and hopefully like people will be as excited as I was when they learn that you're going to be part of my next book.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, I was so pleased when you agreed, because you have such a great experience, you know, and insight in the subject. I just thought I've got to include you, and I was so glad you agreed.
Of course. Of course I agreed.
Yes, it's interesting. I feel like we've experienced this a lot, but anytime we find people that kind of have a similar thought and similar process to how they go about things, they're like, oh yes, like whatever you need, like I will gladly help you.
We always find each other.
Yeah, like we can help so much by other people that are like, oh my gosh, we love that you guys are doing. Let me help you however I can. Like, it's such a nice community. Once you get past all like the BS on the outside, it's really awesome. Like, we've met some of the coolest people kind of in this world.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I agree. It's like a lovely little community within the paranormal, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you get to kind of the real genuine people that are really into it with the right motivations and stuff, there are just some lovely people in it.
I always say this, but Haunted Dolls is like a niche inside of a niche. Like, the paranormal is already small and it's already niche, but then you have Haunted Dolls and it's like this tiny little corner of it, like in the back, you know?
Exactly.
So I love finding other people who want to share about it and want to put it out there, because like you said, it's not that unusual. And I can't tell you how many people I have had where, like, you know, I'm sharing my stuff and I get a message like, hey, I'm pretty sure I've had a haunted doll my entire life. What do I do?
Mhm.
You know, like it is so much more common, and there's a stigma behind it. So not a lot of people talk about it. When I first started, because I'm very open, everybody who knows me knows that I do this. Like, I don't hide it, you know, in person or anything like that. But you know, when I was first telling people, oh, I got haunted dolls, I had multiple people say like, oh, I have a haunted doll. And I'm like, you what? I've known you for 10 years and you've never told me you had one. And they're like, oh yeah, we just didn't talk about it. Like, so many people like sneaky have these things. And I'm like, I wish more people would talk about it, because I know they're out there. And the more I put myself out there, the more I realize that it's not as uncommon as I thought.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it is eye-opening, isn't it? And I think
Yes.
maybe because people are aware of that judgment out there, that they kind of aren't comfortable to come forward until they know that they can trust who they're telling their story to. And it is wonderful, like when people open up and say, well, actually, I've experienced this, you know, and they have these most wonderful cases and items in their life, you know, which kind of verify the reality of it. I was doing a book signing recently in England, and somebody turned up, to some lovely lady, she stayed on at the end and said, oh, you know, I have a doll that's haunted, and these things keep happening around it. And, you know, and it's starting to happen more and more when I go to different places. You know, people will actually open up and say, yeah, this is happening to me. And it's like, it's amazing to see it, you know. I'm glad that people are becoming more comfortable now that the topic is being widely discussed more. Hopefully that will be a good thing to help people feel comfortable to do that.
Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Great. Well, this has been this
is amazing.
Awesome conversation. I'm so excited to be able to talk to you. This was so fun. If people want to read your book, Where can they find it?
Okay, yeah. So it's called A Cursed Collection of Haunted Dolls, and it is widely available online. So your first go-to could be Amazon. Amazon have it on stock. I'm not familiar with your popular bookstores in America, but I have been told by my publisher that it's widely available, and if your bookstore does not have it in the shop, that it can be ordered in. So it should be easily to get hold of a copy. But yeah, Amazon can be your first go-to, and we have it in stock there. And I'm also online as well. And so one of the things I would say is I'm always interested in learning from more people's experiences, so if anyone wants to reach me out on TikTok or Twitter or Instagram, I'd love to hear from people and their experiences.
And I will put all of your links in the description down below. So if you want the book link, you want her social media, etc., go check the links in the description. Please follow her. Please reach out to her. Please read the book. We love it. Actually, we use the book as a resource for our last podcast episode,
yes,
as like part of our research on some of these cases. So we highly recommend it. Definitely check it out. And I cannot wait for your next book. I'm like, let's go. I'm so pumped. It's so nice to have this for the community. So thank you for all of the hard work you're putting in, for coming on, even though we have a crazy time difference. We appreciate you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. And, I've loved following you online in your journey as well. So it's just so great to connect with you and to talk to you in person here. So thank you so much.
Yeah, it's so nice to like see a face to the person I've been like in touch with for a year. It's like, you're real. Yes.
Absolutely.
All right.
Great. Well, we are going to move on to our second half of the podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. Please go check out her book. It is awesome. It is fascinating. We love it very much. So,
all right, we are going to go into our commercial break. Stay tuned for the second half, where we will be chatting with our spirit of the week, who is just the coolest guy. Yes. I can't wait for you to talk to him. So hang tight for our commercial, and we will see you shortly. Thank you, Fiona.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
I wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name, check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain. I ingest, I retain, assess and I change, possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints. Money, clout and fame, mud, disease, a plague. We all love to hate, have to play the game, have to make a name. All our insecurities are on display. This is war with the enemy, think that it was meant to be. Living in a time where disease is on every screen. I won't let them fester me, I know most are festering. Negativity is a plague for the mentally weak. No mercy, all I got is working. Never stop searching, never quench the thirsty. I'm toxic and psychotic, with this logic you can't stop it. It's been chronic since I was a boy, so neurotic and chaotic.
Built to last with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna eat 'em. Make mistakes real fast, then you learn how to beat 'em. If you take off the cast, you can see all the healing. If the pain's in the past, move on from the grave and put your foot on the gas.
All right, and we are back from our commercial break with our spirit of the week, Diego. Every time I listen to that Dead Air commercial, that music is like such hype music. Like I just want to dance.
Hype music.
I love that music. You have noticed that starting last week, our commercial break looks a little bit different. The reason that the Dead Air commercial is in there is because we are very happy to be a part of the Dead Air network now. Dead Air, they have a YouTube channel, and on their YouTube channel, they show a variety of different paranormal podcasts, including our own. And so we are very proud to be a part of that. Definitely go subscribe to them and check out all of their other shows. They have stuff going on all the time, and they are amazing. So definitely go check them out. But it's Diego time.
It's Diego time.
It's Diego time.
One of our favorite spirits.
Oh, yeah. Diego's been here for a long time.
He has been here a long time, hasn't he?
Yes, since last year. And kind of how he got here. He was interesting how he got here. He found his way here. I got a message from somebody, and I got Dick from her personal collection.
Mhm.
She reached out to
Well,
me.
and we all know how that turned out.
Yes, and that turned out great. She reached out to me and she said, "I have a spirit for you." I'm like, "What?" And she's like, I've got a guy that I really think you would love. If you love Dick, you're gonna just love this dude." And I was like, "All right, you know." And she sent me a picture of Diego, and I was like, "No bio needed. Got it. He's good vibes." And he is good vibes.
Oh,
He
spectacular
is
vibes.
one of, I would say, the nicest spirits in our house. He is so chill. He gets along with everybody. He gets along with us. He is just the sweetest, most down to earth individual. He talked to us right away, like second or third day he got here. He told us his entire life story.
Yep. Where he was from, what he did, what he liked, what he doesn't. I mean, everything.
I've never gotten so much evidence in one spirit box session in my life. He told us the town he lived in, the street that his family's house was on, what was around that house, the place that he worked and how far it was from his home, a different place that he used to work and how far it was from his home. And he was from Texas. And I looked it up on a map. I know nothing about Texas. I look it up on a map, and what he described in the spirit box session was like exact.
100% correct.
Like, I found his house. I found the O'Reilly Auto Parts that down the street that he used to walk to, and what street that was. Like, every single thing that he gave us was 100% accurate.
Yes.
It was amazing. Like, towns, street names, everything. He did not miss a thing. So we love having Diego here. He's such a light in our house.
Yeah, I feel like he's very much like he kind of holds everyone together.
Yes.
Like, he's very much a mediator between different people. He gets along with the kids, he gets along with the adults, he gets along with everybody. Us.
Not everybody gets along with us either.
And I think the biggest thing about Diego is almost every single time we have someone and we ask and we're like, who's a spirit who's like really kind to you and is really nice? And they're like, Diego is the nicest.
Even Rowan talked about him.
Kids talk about him. Other spirits talk about him.
Spirits. Everybody just loves him.
Everyone. He's such good vibes. He never complains. He's so positive.
He's so grateful
He's
for
so
everything
great.
too. Like,
Yeah, he's just wonderful.
Very appreciative of what we do here and like everything we've done for them. Like, he's always the first one to show appreciation. And we love him. And his interview was great. He was so happy to do this. Like, he's down for everything.
Yeah,
if you want to see his full story too, it is in the description down below.
I think his vessel is cute too.
He's a Christmas ornament, believe it or not. He has like a little thing here. He's a Christmas ornament. The way that they discovered that he was haunted is quite hilarious, and probably why his original spirit keeper put him here. He was purchased at a thrift store as a Christmas ornament, not as a haunted doll. They were not looking for a haunted doll. They were looking for a vintage Christmas ornament. And they brought him home, and they noticed that every morning their newspaper was being read. And they would come down, and like the newspaper would be like all opened up and looked through, and their house started smelling like liquor all the time.
Yep. Hell yeah.
Because Diego loves to drink, and their house was like smelling like liquor. And she was kind of like, well, how am I supposed to like get this guy adopted? Like, who is not going to care about that? And I was like, I don't care. I kind of think it's funny.
Us.
So, periodically we do smell liquor in our house from Diego. He loves offerings of liquor as well.
Oh, yes.
This is one of the most interesting, I can't explain paranormal activity situations that we have. If you give Diego a shot glass full of liquor, by the next day, it will be almost empty. And Jessica, my friend Jessica, took him to Brazil, and they were giving him beer every day, and she would come in and the beer would be like way down. Like, somehow he is making liquor poof into wherever liquor poofs.
Yes.
I don't know.
It's
interesting.
In a way that it should not evaporate that fast.
No.
By any means.
No,
and liquor doesn't really evaporate much anyway.
No, and it'll be in hours.
Yeah, and it would be like, you will see it literally go down in like the span of like 2 hours. He will lose like half a beer glass. I mean, it's really wild.
I
One of
can't
those things
explain
that
it.
you can't explain.
But it's consistent too.
It's consistent.
every time.
Yeah, it's
I
awesome.
need to like do some like long-term documentation of that. Like I need to just put a camera on him for like, a day with his
he'd be
liquor to
thrilled.
see it go down. Because I'm just so interested in that. I can't explain it. I don't understand it, but it is a consistent Diego thing. If Diego gets his shot, he's gonna have a shot no more very quickly.
He's
So
gonna be the happiest guy around.
yes.
Yeah. Let's get to his questions.
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome.
Man loves to party.
Man loves to party. So, as a reminder of how this works, we go through a spirit box session with Diego on Taylor's TikTok channel. We ask him these questions directly that we get submitted from you guys, and I write down his answers word for word. I do not paraphrase them. I do not change them. I write down exactly what he said, and then I read it to you guys. So, Diego, someone we enjoy talking to very much. So our first question is from LT.
Shout
out LT. They ask, Diego, if you could work on an old hot rod, what one would it be and why? Little context.
He worked at the O'Reilly Auto
He worked at
Parts.
the O'Reilly Auto Parts.
He loves to tell us
He loves
about that.
cars. He loves to work on cars, things like that. So some of these were definitely car questions. Diego answered, I would like to say a Porsche because I never did get to work on luxury cars, just oil change and things like that. Very cool. There you go. Lovely answer. Next question is also from LT. They ask, if you were to take Taylor and Mitch on vacation, where would it be and why? Diego said, in the future, let's go to Texas. It's awesome there, and I think they'd like that. My home. Great food. And I was like, all right. I think this is the one, too, where he was like, you should plan that now. And I was like, okay. I'll talk to Taylor about it.
He's such a good travel companion.
He's
though.
great because he's tiny and he's like, you can squint. I mean,
And he's happy.
not-
No matter what you do with him, he's happy.
Oh, he's the happiest guy around.
Yeah.
And he's like, his vessel's not delicate. Like he's
No.
it's just stuffed.
Sent him to Brazil with an entire house of people who have never seen a haunted doll before besides Jessica.
Oh, and they loved him.
He's teaching them how to use the equipment. He's showing off with all the lights for them. I mean, this man
They were offering him beer.
This man came home with a bag full of souvenirs from Brazil. He's got bottle openers from Brazil.
And
all
they
this stuff.
check on him. They're like, hey,
All
how's
the
Diego
time.
doing? Like it's awesome.
He communicated with people who had no idea what they're doing and he was willing to teach them. I mean, he's just the man.
He's kind of like I imagine him as someone you could put him in a group of like anybody. Like any people,
And he'd
and
make friends.
he will be best friends with everyone in that room in like an hour.
Yes.
Like he's just, and everyone's like, this guy's the best. Like,
Yes.
where have you been?
Yes.
Like he's awesome.
He's the man.
He's great. Okay, next question is also from LT. They ask, who do you have the most fun with hanging out with at home? And Diego said, that would be Dick and animals. He's a very great guy.
He's a very great guy.
And
See,
then-
exactly. You see,
Exactly.
that's a perfect example.
Perfect example. And then I said, side note, I said, we have a theory that Dick is a secret softie. I said, is this true? And he said, oh, true. Definitely.
And to be honest with you, D-Man was pretty unmanageable until Diego got here.
He
Diego
wrangled him.
changed T-Man completely.
100%. Next question is from Jenny. Shout out.
Shout out.
They ask, what is your favorite car? And Diego said, Ford is reliable. And then I asked, did you mostly drive cars or trucks? He said trucks. Awesome. I love it. Next question is also from Jenny. They ask, if you could go anywhere with any one of Tej's spirits, where would you go and who would you take? And Diego said, I would take Dick to Mexico. Would be a fun time. And
That is like the most terrifying statement I've ever heard in my life.
they would.
That statement is the
Mexico
scariest.
would not be ready for them. They would not be ready for them.
That statement is my new scariest haunted doll experience.
They would
D-Man in Mexico.
D-Man in
That's
Mexico with
terrifying.
Diego.
And
They'd
gir-
shut the place down.
and girls in bathing suits.
Oh,
I mean, that would be
jeez.
scary. It would be scary. I'm afraid.
Yeah. I did ask as a side note. I said, if you were there, what would be your drink of choice? And he said, a margarita, of course.
Same.
The man knows how to party. Like the man knows what's up. Next question is also from Jenny. They ask, did you have fun at Mod Madness?
For context, what Mod Madness is.
Yes, thank you.
In case you don't know, Mod Madness is, well, we've decided it's now 2 weekends a year, but Mod Madness is when our mod team, who moderate all of my pages, they answer people's questions, they give advice, they educate,
Yeah.
they are amazing humans,
Great
and
group.
they help on my TikTok, my Discord, my YouTube. We want to celebrate them and all of the different ways that they have helped us, and you guys, by we have them out here. This was our first one, and so we had 4 of them come out here and stay for a couple of days. And our spirits were pretty wild. So I think everyone was curious of what they thought about how their Mod Madness experience was.
Because that's most important, right?
Yes.
So let me repeat the question. Jenny asked, did you have fun at Mod Madness? And Diego said, an excellent time. You guys were hilarious people. Welcome back anytime.
He's like the Airbnb host.
just the greatest. Next question is from Carly. Shout out Carly. Their question was, hey, yo, good man. What is your favorite liquor? And if someone asked this question already, what is your favorite vodka? And do you use a chaser? Excellent question. And Diego said, I'd say whiskey, gin, vodka mostly. I like Everclear. Oh, yeah. That was my reaction as well. I was like, whoa. Listen again.
That's a choice.
But here, you have to remember, Diego, the man knows how to party.
Yeah.
He is not a beginner.
That is a choice.
He is not a beginner.
No.
Next question is also from Carly. They ask, who is your go-to spirit to hang out with? I love this question. I always feel like it's so, we learn so much about the spirits with these kinds of questions. So I love it.
Yeah, we've heard some weird stuff on these.
Some great stuff. He said, for me, I love everyone. Auric is a great guy, but I love everyone.
I love an Auric shout out.
Love an Auric shout out. I then asked a side question. I said, is there anyone who we would not expect who you get along with? And Diego said, Omi. Love her now. She is very friendly, quirky.
Friendly is one way to put it.
Yes, absolutely.
For context there, Omi crashed like almost every single spirit box session over the weekend. She is friendly.
She wants recognition and she wants it now.
And she doesn't listen for shit.
No.
She does not listen.
No. Omi,
you tell her what to do, she's gonna do the opposite.
Omi
every
lives
time.
on Omi's schedule and Omi's world only. And
Yes.
if you're not living in it, you better get to it.
Yes. Yes.
Next
True.
question is from Adriana. They ask, what is your favorite weather season and why? And Diego said, I love the sun and heat. So summer. There
I
you
agree
go.
with you on most things, Diego, but I don't agree with you on that.
I do, Diego. I love the heat. We can go live in the desert together.
No way.
I love it. I then asked a couple questions. I said, Diego, what is your favorite memory from being here? And I love this answer. Diego said, I won the Christmas competition. So this is a way callback
This is
to
some,
last
this is some
Christmas,
lore.
right?
This is some
So-
lore.
Taylor, would you like to explain to the people what the Christmas competition of last year was?
Sure, I'm still I mean I have like you say Christmas and now this is my memory. You know, it should be like positive memories with my family. No, it's this chaos. We decorate the house severely for Christmas. Severely. You'll see
Yes.
it in like 2 weeks.
Yes.
You'll see it.
Like Christmas threw up in our house.
It is severe. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to do this cute thing for them for Christmas. It's going to be great. They're going to love it. So I made these little Christmas stockings for every single one of them with their name on it. Spent all this time. It was great. I hung them up. So they each had their stocking next to their shelf. And Christy rips hers down first. And it just flings. Like she pulls it down and it flings and it lands in the middle of the floor. Well, oh, this is another freaking Omi story. Yeah, here's Omi at her finest. Omi sees Christy chuck her stocking and Omi starts throwing quite a few stockings. And every time I walk out of the room, Omi pulls her stocking down. And I come back up and I hang it up. I turn around and leave and Omi pulls her stocking down again. She did it 5-6 times. And I was like, Omi, we're not doing this. So what does Omi do? She continues to do it because this is what Omi does. This turns into everyone's Christmas stockings flying around.
It cascaded quite fast.
Because I made the mistake of having this big reaction. I had hung up Christmas decorations all day. I was tired. And now these stockings that I spent all this time making and then hanging up are just getting ripped down over and over and over again. And so I finally had enough, and I reacted too big, and they thought it was funny how I reacted to it. And when anybody in our house thinks something is funny, it's going to happen 10,000 times.
Yep.
Because ours just this kinds of spirits that we like to work with, they're attention seekers, and they see a funny reaction and they are just going to triple down where it becomes not funny anymore.
Yeah, and you got.
And so, I reacted too big. I should have ignored it. I didn't. Omi caused this field day. And so by the end of this, all these stockings are flying around and just getting pulled down. And Christie's literally disappeared into thin air. Like it poofed out of the house. It's gone. But anyway, so finally I have enough and I can't make this stop. And every time I come in this room, I'm having to clean up these damn stockings for like 3 days. So I said, all right, we're going to make it a competition because our spirits love to bet and they love to win.
They do. Stuff. We have a very competitive group.
And bribery just works.
It really does.
It works in our house. And so I said, all right, here's how this is going to go. Whoever's stocking makes it up until Christmas does not get pulled down until Christmas. You got to leave it up for 3 weeks. Whoever's stocking stays up until Christmas gets an extra Christmas gift that is specific to you, and it's whatever you want, and it's a special gift that nobody else is going to get. By Christmas, there were only 2 stockings left. Diego's and Fiona's, who Fiona is also a baby angel. I mean, she is just a saint too. So Fiona and Diego got their special surprises, and Diego wanted a shot of vodka, so that is what we gave him.
Yep.
And it was gone by the next day. Actually, I remember going to you the next day, and I was like, Mitchell, what the heck? I went in there because we didn't know about this liquor thing. This is how we found out about it.
Yes, it is.
And I went to Mitchell, and I was like, you gypped Diego, brother. I was like, what? Like, you gave him like nothing. There's nothing in that shot glass. I was like, he won the Christmas competition. You're supposed to give him a full shot. And Mitchell's like, Taylor, I did. And I'm like, no, you didn't.
No, I specifically remember pouring a full shot because I was like, I am not jipping him on it.
And I thought he was nuts, and he thought I was nuts. And I'm like, go look. His shot is empty. And he's like, Taylor, no, it's not. I filled it all the way. He comes in here and he's like, where'd it go? I'm like, I don't know.
And then so the story of Diego unfolded.
And it continued. And we learned that this is a consistent thing with him after that experience.
Yes.
So.
And I'm happy that that's a fond memory for him because he deserved it.
It's a fun memory for me. Go Diego. Diego held down.
Go.
When our whole house fell apart, Diego stayed standing.
Of course he did. Next question was also for me. I asked Diego, if you could pick 3 songs to play on repeat, what would they be? Diego said, I enjoy things like Pink Floyd, Ozzy Osbourne, Rolling Stones. Any rock is great. Respect.
Great taste. Excellent taste.
We have a lot of spirits that kind of live in that genre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of our type, is the rock music crowd.
Yeah, that's true. Last question I had for Diego was, what is a hobby you have that we wouldn't expect? And Diego said, I don't know. I fix stuff. Anything. I said, great.
I don't know. I fix stuff.
I then asked Diego, do you have any final words for the podcast? He said, thanks for the questions. Bye. So there you go. There was Diego's interview.
He's just awesome.
So wholesome.
He's just awesome.
Will always be such a positive member of our house.
He's the man.
We know he's respectful. We know he's loyal. He's, if we ask him to do something, he'll do it. He's great.
Yeah. We love Diego.
So that is going to wrap up our podcast for this week. We want to sincerely thank our guests.
Yes, Fiona. That was amazing getting to talk to her. Please read her book.
Yes, her book is awesome. It is really good. It's fascinating. It's a short read too.
Yeah.
And I really like, because I have trouble finishing book. It's broken up into pieces, so you could take like certain parts of it and kind of go about it that way.
It's a quick read. For sure.
It's a quick read. I know it's available on Amazon. I'm sure it's available in other places too.
Links in the description. We also want to thank our members, our channel members.
Yes, our channel members.
Thank you so much. You guys help us so much
More than
with
you know.
your support. If you don't know about our membership, every single Friday night for our members, we do a Spirit Box Live where you can come and ask our spirits questions and interact with them in real time here on YouTube. We also have a second tier of our membership that also includes behind the scenes footage, fun stuff that we're doing, bloopers,
Shenanigans.
It's just our place to dump all of the goofy stuff we got, and we got a lot of it.
Which is a lot. Trust me.
You know, things like Haunted Doll Trivia from Mod Madness or us playing games, things like that. You know, enjoyable behind the scenes content from investigations, all of those things. If you want a behind the scenes look of what we're doing, the other tier of our membership can offer you that. So thank you to our members for your support. You guys help us continue, you know, going on investigations, which we're going on here in a couple weeks, and expanding our collection, expanding our resources, expanding what we're able to offer here. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So we hope you enjoyed our interview, and we hope you enjoyed this week. We are excited to see you next week. So see you then.
See you next time. Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye.